Jeff Cantagalo here with CarShowz.com. So I wanted to bring up a hot topic lately. I'm coming at you more from a consumer standpoint, not really as a professional in the industry that's doing the installations, but just somebody that's a car guy and enthusiast. A lot of people are asking me about PPF and a combination of ceramic coat versus just repainting, for example, a front bumper. Is it worth the ceramic coat? Is it worth the PPF? Kind of going to leave that up to you. So I'm going to lay out some facts, doing some basic research on the internet. Of course, with AI now, you can go out and use Copilot or any of those GPT chat or anything to do a search. Is going to go out to the internet, pull all this relevant information back, a bunch of facts, and basically you can take that information and come up with a decision on your own. So I'm going to say it depends, right? So it depends on your driving conditions, your driving habits, and how much do you care about your ride at the end of the day. So I'll give you an example. I have a 2020 GT500 Shelby. It's a black car, black on black, pain in the ass to keep clean, pain in the ass to keep any rock chips, obviously, because it shows everything. So trying to hide any type of rock chips or anything. So I bought the car, had 465 miles on it. Practically brand new, but did have some chips in the front bumper and on the front hood. Top of the hood. So the bottom line is new ride versus used. So I would say if it's a brand new ride right out from the manufacturer, right out from the showroom floor, take it straight to your PPF guy. First, they're going to do paint correction. So obviously that's going to be factored into the cost. Because believe it or not, coming right from the manufacturer, the swirls, the orange peel in the paint's not perfect, right? So it's an assembly line. It's getting sprayed. Spray's not perfect, so you're going to need to get that fixed before you wrap it. Because what I've noticed, even with the used Shelby, any little rock chips or anything that I have in the front bumper, when that film lays over, depending on the color, it's going to show. Again, with black, the way the light hits it, I see every imperfection, in the front bumper, even with the film laid over it, right? So obviously, again, depending on the color, PPF may hide it, depending the way the light hits it, depending what color film you go with, because there's a lot of different films for PPF even now, give you the satin look, or it's not just a regular clear film anymore, so you have options. The other thing is for PPF, what's going to get factored into the cost if it's hand cut versus a template / printed. So what I mean by that is these guys that are doing the installation, they're going to lay the film out, for example, over a mirror, instead of actually having a template to where you have your model, make, year, plug that into the system and it prints out the film. It's literally going to give you a template you can lay out, and that's what you're going to do the installation with. A lot of these guys are doing, old school guys are still doing hand cut. The guys that used to wrap cars from the, back in the day when it first started. I actually did an article in 2014. It was plasti dip versus vinyl wrap versus paint, which was a huge hit because, of course, everybody's Googling, trying to figure out, hey, is it worth it or not? So this is a similar topic now with PPF, ceramic coat, and then versus just repainting it. So what's the difference? What's the cost, right? So again, new ride versus used. That's going to be factored in because it depends on the imperfections that are already in the car. So again, if it's new and if you're considering PPF or ceramic coat, take it directly to the shop, get it done right away. Hand cut versus template. So again, the guys that are laying out the film, you're not going to want any seams. You're not going to want to see any, you're going to want to stand back from the car and it's going to want to look like it just rolled off the manufacturer floor. Obviously better because you're going to have the paint correction completed. And then you're going to have the film laid out to where you're not going to have any seams. Going through the cost, obviously to repaint a front bumper, there's a lot of factors depending on the condition of the bumper. Are you going to do, is it a DIY project versus professional service? You have to budget for the paint, primer, clear coat, sandpaper. Body shop has to account for their labor, materials, and just their expertise, years of experience, because that's going to matter for the installation and them spraying paint or whatever. Color matching. So if you're getting a bumper touched up, for example, do you want it color matched into the fenders? Depending on how old the car is, you're going to want it blended in potentially. The type of paint that's used, the durability, high quality automotive paint versus just something off the shelf. Then there's the, factoring in, do you want to do a bumper replacement versus just repainting? So there's, pre-painted options for bumpers that you can go out and purchase aftermarket parts and whatnot. But of course the fit and finish is going to matter there. So the cost estimates, if you want to break down a pre-painted bumper, you can probably get online like $700 to $1,000. Of course, it's going to depend on fit and finish. A lot of these guys now, or a lot of these manufacturers or companies that are selling these things, are using molds. So overseas, they're getting these parts shipped over, so the fit and finish is not going to be right on. You're going to have gaps. You're going to have to, the installation. So there's going to be time calculated into that. While you can get parts cheap and upfront, shipped to your door, the cost and installation for the labor is going to cost you, and on the back end. So you got to factor that in. Full front PPF, what we're talking is probably bumpers. Maybe talk about the front of the hood, the entire hood, the mirrors. And then on the back, a lot of the guys are doing the rear quarter panels. So that way rock chips and whatnot fly up. It protects the rear quarter panel. Anywhere from $900 to $3,300 to get that PPF'd. To do a full vehicle, I mean, you're talking a few grand, right? So anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000, right? Depending on, again, the shop's experience matters, right? Because the installation. So again, when they're hand laying these things, you're not going to see any seams, right? At least that's the goal. When they're tucking the film around, you want to make sure that it has a good installation. It's not going to peel later on. So prep matters as well. So the experience gets factored in. To repaint a front bumper, could it be anywhere from $500 to $1,500? Again, you go to get a Mako job, nothing against Mako, but they're going to quick spray it and get it out the door. It may look decent. There's some shops that really do good jobs around here, like Mako. Product they produce is decent. Could almost be show quality, right? So it depends on the shop that you take it to. Repainting a bumper from professionally, $500 to $1,500. Front PPF to protect your front, basically your whole front end of your vehicle and any area that's facing rocks or could get rock chips. $900 to $3,300. And then on top of that, we haven't even talked about ceramic coating yet. So ceramic coating, we're going to talk about industry grade ceramic coat. It protects the exterior of the vehicle. So a lot of guys are doing PPF and then ceramic coating. So one of the benefits also of ceramic coating is not only does it help protect, but it also helps with the rain. So you won't get water spots and stuff. So the rain will hit, basically runs off the car. Not too much different from a wax, back in the day. Some will argue the application of ceramic coat will last longer. And of course, they have their warranties, 1 year, 5 year, 9 year typically. There may be a 3 year in there or something. So I'm not sure what packages are all offered out there now. But one of the things to consider is the soap that you use to wash the car. So there's a special ceramic coat type of soap you have to get. Then there's boosters, and then there's the quick detail that you have to get the spray. So it has to be a ceramic coat, like a polymer solution that you need to spray on the vehicle to help boost the ceramic coat and keep up with that now. So now you have a whole line of chemicals and a new line of products that you have to kind of keep in the garage. So a lot of the companies, McGuire's, Stoner, they're all coming out with Adams. They're all coming out with products now for ceramic coating and to be able to keep up with your vehicles. Versus back in the day, you put a good coat of wax on there, use McGuire's quick detail, you're good to go. Now there's a whole lineup of stuff that you need to manage and maintain. So again, depending on the brand, the product line of ceramic coat that you use, the warranty duration we talked about, 1, 3, 5, 9 years. The paint correction matters too. Again, so that's the first thing you want to do if your car is used or new. You want to get paint correction done before you do the PPF, right? Because you don't want the swirls and stuff to show. Again, the way that sun hits, the way that light hits, or the garage lights hit your vehicle, you're going to notice imperfections. So it's best to have a professional go in, make sure they're paint correcting your vehicle from swirls, orange peel, whatever the deal is. And then that way, when you PPF the vehicle, you have the peace of mind knowing that the vehicle is protected, but then it's going to look good as well. So I just want to, again, add the disclaimer. I mean, at least for me as a consumer, is the expectation is if you have imperfections, it's not going to completely hide the imperfections. Again, my car is black on black. Any little rock chip, any little whatever imperfection in the paint, I know it's there and I see it because that light hits in a certain angle and it's still going to show. Some colors of vehicles may hide it better than others, but I can tell you black is not going to hide anything. When it's clean and it looks good, it's on point. But again, if you're very anal and OCD like me, you are going to see imperfections. So the other thing is for ceramic coat, again, and I'm referencing, and you can lay PPF, do ceramic coating on top. Again, you have the PPF film that's protecting from scratches, chips. Granted, it's not going to stop a boulder from hitting your car, but any light scratches, or if you're wiping the car down and you may have a dirty cloth, which some people do, it will help protect from that. And then as the heat gets into that film, it stretches it out a little further, and you're not really going to see any imperfections from the scratches and that kind of thing as you're wiping things down. So it will hide that very well. Anything under the paint, like I mentioned earlier, you will see those. Ceramic coating on top will help protect the film, but it also helps with rain, water spots, that kind of thing. So as it rains, the water just kind of runs right off. I'm sure you've seen videos. I'll add a little clip in here demonstrating that. So that's a good advantage as well. Again, DIY versus professional application. So there are some off-the-shelf ceramic coating products you can purchase, but you do have detailers that can get the better stuff. Plus, they get it in bulk. So really, at the end of the day, the price that they offer you can be comparable to you actually doing it yourself from a material standpoint. Obviously, time, labor is going to cost more because they got their cost, their overhead that they get to keep up with. But just remember, your time is also important, and that needs to be factored into the cost. Me, I'd rather take it to a professional, knowing they can get it done right, versus me learning for a few days, even just with the paint correction part of it. It's just better to take it to a professional, in my opinion. That's for me, and it's not for everybody. If you have the time, you have the space, you have the garage, and you have the tools, by all means, and you're going to save money. But just remember to factor your time into that as well. The paint correction is the biggest part of that. Again, removing swirls and scratches and whatnot. Preparation of laying that ceramic coat is going to factor in a lot of that cost. So just throwing a bunch of information at you guys to be able to make a decision at the end of the day. A lot of information out there on the internet, of course, but I wanted to lay some things out there for you guys to consider, because a lot of people are asking, is it worth it? And it's really up to you. If you care about your car, truck, whatever it is, your ride, you want to protect the paint, PPF may be the way to go on top of ceramic coating versus actually painting. At the end of the day, if you take care of your vehicle, you don't drive it as often, you're not driving around major highways and such, it may be worth just keeping up with the paint. And then later on, if you want to repaint it, that may be the way to go as well. So I hope this helped you out. I'm just coming at you from a consumer standpoint. There's a lot of professionals out there that do this. There's a lot of folks that do it all on the side, have a lot of information to share. So if there's any information, shoot it over to me. I'll get it added into the comments or into our article on the website, CarShowz.com. Appreciate you guys. I hope this helped.